I'm Ashley Deem, Associate Publisher and Editor of Fantini's Gaming Report, here with Geoff Freeman, the CEO of the American Gaming Association. So Geoff, I'll hand it over to you so you can speak a little bit about last night's events.
Well, first of all, Ashley, thank you for having me. We do this annually, and I always appreciate the opportunity. Certainly our thoughts and prayers are with all of those that were affected with last night's event. It was a horrific incident that all of us here at G2E are certainly thinking about. It changes the tone for this week's activities. I had the unfortunate experience of being in Washington for 9/11 and going through that, and as horrific as it all was, we saw over time how it pulled people together, how the honking stopped, the yelling stopped, and people started working together, and it brought them tighter. And I'm confident that we're going to see that with the gaming industry here in Las Vegas this week and beyond. Obviously, this is the beating heart of our industry right here in Las Vegas. It's a very tight-knit community. We work together very closely, and we're going to work together this week and beyond to honor those who were affected and to continue to strengthen this industry. Obviously, I'm sure there'll be lessons learned from this terrible event, and we will apply those lessons. But more than anything else, I think right now we're going to stay strong as an industry for those that need us. At G2E this week, we'll soon be announcing certain things we're doing in terms of charitable contributions, looking into other ways that people can offer their support. We're eager to get those things in place so that our tens of thousands of attendees here can certainly feel that they did their part in this incident.
As you said, it's a close-knit industry, a community, and our thoughts as well are with everyone affected. But on to the matter at hand. You have had a busy year, barnstorming on issues like sports betting and educating people on the financial impact that gaming has on their communities. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing and the messages that the AGA is standing behind?
Sure. One of the things from this incident that I'm proud of is our team. We have an incredible team at the AGA, a team that was instantaneously working on the plans for how we adapt to this situation, and a team that, as you said, has been barnstorming the country, everywhere and anywhere to tell the story of the gaming industry, to highlight the immense contributions we make in local communities around the country, to deepen our relationships with community organizations, with law enforcement, with mayors and governors and others. I'm very proud of where the gaming industry has come, particularly over the last several years, where I think we've made great headway in strengthening, enhancing the perception of this industry. It's critical that we do that. One thing that my team is tired of hearing me say is that public policy is a direct descendant of perception. If we want to improve the public policy that we confront, public policy that often hinders innovation, hinders reinvestment, if we want to change those things, we've got to invest in driving an accurate perception of the industry. And that's what our team does so well from coast to coast. I think you've seen it with the Get to Know Gaming activities we've had over the past several years, and we've got much more in store in the years ahead.
So I guess we should talk about the most talked about issue right away, which is sports betting. Opposition is starting to crumble a bit. We're going to hear from the Supreme Court sometime soon. What's the AJ's outlook for what happens with sports betting moving forward?
We are very excited about what the future holds in terms of sports betting. As we've talked about, we've got about a $150 billion market right now in the United States. 97% of it is illegal. We have a massive opportunity to do the right thing here, to get rid of a failed federal law put in place in 1992 that says that it prohibits sports betting largely outside Nevada, and yet we know it's happening in every corner of the country. This is an opportunity for growth. This is an opportunity for this industry to seize what it is that our customers are interested in, to innovate within our industry, and we're closer than we've ever been before. And one way or another, it's going to get done. It's either going to get done completely by the Supreme Court. They'll have a hearing later this fall, probably November or December. They'll rule on that probably April or May of next year. And when they do, we see three potential outcomes. Two of them are favorable. One of them is that they uphold what the lower courts have decided. Well, it's pretty unlikely that the Supreme Court would take this case to simply tell the other courts you've done a good job. The chances are they're going to blow this thing up. And they're either going to go all the way and rule PASPA unconstitutional, which would be an opportunity for every state in this country to begin the process of regulating this business, or they're going to agree with New Jersey and really put this back in Congress's lap. Either way, AGA is prepared. We're working with the leagues, we're working with the broadcasters, we're working with all of the relevant stakeholders in law enforcement, the U.S. Conference of Mayors, the National Council of State Legislatures, and so many others to pave the way for legal sports betting in this country. 15 states have already introduced or passed legislation to prepare for regulating this. You had 20 states join West Virginia in an amicus to the Supreme Court. The demand for sports betting's never been higher. I'm excited about the multi-billion-dollar opportunity that our industry is helping to create. And as I said, and I will repeat over and over, we are closer as an industry than we've ever been.
And sports betting kind of steals the show a little bit, but that's the AGA also is active in things that affect the industry, such
Sure.
as IRS and tax reform. Can you speak a little bit about those initiatives?
Sports betting is certainly the sexy issue that steals a lot of the attention, and for good reason. It is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. We've got a lot of other opportunities, and I think the key from AGA's perspective is really shifting, particularly at a federal level, shifting from defense to offense. Yes, we have to continue to prevent a lot of bad, made in Washington ideas from taking off, and there's been no shortage of those over the years. But we've also got an opportunity to go make good things happen. In addition to sports betting, take a look at the slot tax threshold. This thing's been set at $1,200 since the 1970s. It is an antiquated level for slot tax play. It forces a lot of machines to lock up. It changes the customer's experience. It costs the properties a lot of money. Let's go get this thing changed. You know, if we adjust the slot tax for inflation, it's closer to $5,000. If we adjust it to $2,500, we account for more than 90% of all jackpots that take place. This is a growth opportunity to lift that slot tax threshold, and that's something we're working on right now. We've all seen in recent days, tax reform has become the big buzz. We're very much focused on that. There are opportunities like the slot tax threshold, but there are also some risks with this issue. We're concerned about what happens with interest deductibility and tax reform and a host of other measures that could affect our industry, so we're very much focused on that. The last thing I would say, and we will issue here at G2E, our AGA Strategic Plan 2020, which details where we're going in the years ahead. It's going to detail how AGA is going to get more engaged at a state level. AGA, throughout its history, 20 years, has been focused on Washington. A lot of the day-to-day action for our industry is in the states. In some states, we have great local advocates for the industry, and in other states, we don't. AGA wants to be a resource. We're going to get involved in these states to better address regulatory and statutory matters that limit our industry's ability to innovate and reinvest in the years ahead. This is going to be a big area of focus for us.
One of the things you've used, one of the phrases you've used is growth through policy. And you know, outside of what you just described, are there other policy issues that the AGA sees as a way to effectively grow the gaming industry?
Absolutely, and that's one of the things I mean when I say getting involved at a state level. We're not going to see as much expansion as we've seen over the past 20 years. There simply aren't as many markets left. There's Georgia and there's Japan, and we'll be involved in those markets. We'll certainly make the case for why our industry is an asset to the communities in which we do business. But when we look at Missouri, when we look at Pennsylvania, and all the markets where gaming already exists, we have to ask ourselves, how do we grow? One of the ways to grow, one of the ways to thrive in the years ahead is to take a look at policy that holds us back. You know, as an industry, we have our hands tied when it comes to how transactions are conducted. Most of our transactions involve a casino cage. But go look at other industries. Go look at Disney right now, who not too long ago introduced the Magic Band, where people use this Fitbit-like device on their wrist to access their room, to access certain venues, to pay for meals, to buy other goods and services. It's a one-stop shop of efficiency, and it leads people to have a better experience. Well, can we imagine bringing something like that into the casino experience? That's a growth opportunity, but we've got to address the regulatory and statutory burdens that hold us back, that restrict our abilities to innovate in order to have that growth in the future.
Now, another initiative is unifying the industry, so to speak, and you recently attended NIGA's summer conference. So can you speak a little bit about the state of affairs in the effort
Sure.
to unify?
Yeah, the thing I'm probably most proud of since coming to AGA 5 years ago now, this coming spring, is the work that we've done as an industry to come together. We now represent more than 90% of the commercial gaming sector, a third of the tribal gaming sector, nearly the totality of the supplier sector. Our industry is strongest when it works together. The key is figuring out what the issues are upon which we all agree and holding the focus on all of those issues. This is AGA's #1 priority, to ensure that our industry is collaborating, cooperating, working together in the years to come. I look at this tragic event that's taken place here in Las Vegas this week. We're stronger as an industry today. We're stronger and better able to address situations like this because we work together under one roof. We'll understand the risks, we'll understand the opportunities, we will cooperate, and our industry will be better off because of our newfound ability to collaborate like we've never done before.
Geoff, if you had a crystal ball, what does the gaming industry look like in 5 years?
Certainly don't have a crystal ball, but do have a lot of things that have us excited. Sports betting will be taking place within 5 years. I think we will have made significant headway in getting policymakers to take a fresh look, rather than a punitive approach to policy, a progressive approach to policy, looking at how we innovate, how we can reinvest in our properties, how we can have more trial and error, be more nimble as an industry, and adapt to current events. We've got a lot of work to do to help policymakers understand that we operate in a highly competitive environment. And we're not just competing against casinos, we're competing against cruise lines, we're competing against theme parks, we're competing against everything else that people do to spend their limited discretionary dollars. If we can convince policymakers of that fact, we have a world of opportunity when it comes to innovation. And I think we're going to make a lot of headway over the next 5 years.
Well, Geoff, I appreciate you coming and taking the time to talk with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.